And today we are at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California for our first outing of 2021. That's right. And this is COVID history now because it's our first event and we are doing a drive-thru Jurassic Quest. That's right. So enjoy the ride.
What you're looking at is the Triassic period. The Triassic started about 251 million years ago at the end of another period that we call the Permian. One of the earliest dinosaurs that we know of was Eoraptor. Its name means dog thief because it lived at the dawn of the age of dinosaurs. Eoraptor made its home in what is now Argentina about 231 million years ago. Beside that is a kind of skinny dinosaur, Dilophysis. Its name means hollow form because they had hollow sacs of air in their joints instead of cartilage. Dilophysis is the oldest known dinosaur from North America. And here is a large predator known as Herrerasaurus. Herrerasaurus is the name of one of the largest predatory dinosaurs that lived in the Triassic period. It lived in what is now Argentina about 231 million years ago.
The Triassic period was the dawn of the age of dinosaurs, but it too had to come to an end. Just a little over 200 million years ago, the Earth encountered another mass extinction. Believed to be caused by an increased period of volcanic activity, it caused the extinction of roughly 70% of life on Earth. This wiped out a lot of bigger animals at the time. Without big competitors, dinosaurs thrived, and in the Jurassic period, they quickly became the gargantuan creatures we think of when we hear the word dinosaurs.
The big shell you see is an ammonite. Ammonites are cephalopods. That means they are relatives of the squid, octopus, and nautilus. Wise man once said, there's always a bigger fish. The big critter here is the magical Leopleurodon. Leopleurodon was a member of the pliosaur family, which is a kind of short-necked plesiosaur.
Dilophosaurus was a predator from the very beginning of the Jurassic period, around 200 million years ago. Now, a lot of people have ideas of Dilophosaurus spitting poison or venom or acid, and a lot of the pictures and toys show them with a big frill around their neck.
Stegosaurus is a Jurassic plant eater whose back, neck, and tail were covered in bony plates. Stegosaurus had a special weapon. Along its tail, it had a set of spikes called a thagomizer that it would use to defend itself from predators. And the predator it had to worry about the most was Allosaurus. T-Rex isn't the only scary meat-eating dinosaur we have here at Jurassic Quest. Allosaurus was one of the larger predators around in the late Jurassic. Allosaurus had long arms for a theropod with big, hooked claws. These could help it grip onto its prey while it used its serrated teeth as its primary weapon.
The big, long-necked dinosaur in this scene is a Apatosaurus. A Apatosaurus is what we call a sauropod, or a long-necked dinosaur. Sauropods were the biggest animals to ever walk on Earth. In order to get that big, sauropods had to eat all the time. To eat even more, these long-necked giants didn't even waste time chewing, but swallowed the leaves from trees whole. But they had a special trick to help them digest their food.
The duck-billed dinosaur you see is what we call an iguanodon, and it's one of the first dinosaurs to be discovered and named. Some of you might have already guessed that iguanodon means iguana tooth. When iguanodon was discovered in England, no one had ever even heard of dinosaurs yet. So when it came time to name this bizarre new animal, the only similarities anyone could think of were that its teeth kind of looked like the teeth of an iguana, only bigger. The very first drawings of Iguanodon depicted it as a giant iguana-like creature. Baryonyx was a carnivore, and specifically, it ate fish. We know that it ate fish because when the first baryonyx skeleton was found in England in the 1980s, it had fossilized fish bones and fish scales inside of its belly, along with a few bones from a young iguanodon.
Tyrannus, the feathered tyrant. Eutyrannus is part of the Tyrannosauridae family. That means it's a relative of the T-Rex. Eutyrannus lived in the Liaoning province of China. What makes Eutyrannus special is that it is the largest dinosaur that we know of with feathers. We know that Eutyrannus had feathers because of where and when it lived. About 120 million years ago,
furry guy is Utah Raptor. Now let's see, can anyone guess where Utah Raptor was discovered? That's right, Cincinnati. Just kidding, folks. Utah Raptor was found in Utah. Utah Raptor is the largest known member of the raptor family. Seats was a massive predator that lived at the end of the early Cretaceous. Very little is known about Seats due to how recent of a discovery it is, but it is thought to be a member of the Allosauridae group that lived into the early Cretaceous. Seats lived in North America at about the same time as some members of the Tyrannosaur family.
Spinosaurus is one of the largest carnivores to ever walk the earth, but it mostly ate fish. We know that because Spinosaurus's teeth have been found embedded in fossilized bones of large fish, although they have also been found in the bones of other dinosaurs.
The first creature here is the long-necked Elasmosaurus. It's a relative of the Plesiosaurus, but much bigger. Second is Archelon, the biggest sea turtle known to exist. It had a leathery shell called carapace, and just like sea turtles today, it probably laid eggs on land. The huge, fearsome creature is Tylosaurus. A relative of Mosasaurus, its name means the knob lizard because of a bony protrusion on the end of its snout that might have been used to ram into its prey. Tylosaurus is a member of the Squamata family. That's the group of reptiles that includes lizards and snakes. Is Xiphactinus. Xiphactinus was a voracious predator that lived in the oceans all over the world. It could reach lengths of up to 20 feet long.
Starting with Velociraptor. Despite what you may have seen in movies, Velociraptor is not 6 feet tall, but actually about 3 feet tall, 6 feet long, and about 20 to 30 pounds. Just think of an extra scary turkey. We also know that at least one Velociraptor attacked a Protoceratops, the next dinosaur in this scene. The other dinosaur in the scene, Oviraptor, has an unfortunate name, meaning egg leaf. When this dinosaur was discovered, it was found over a nest of eggs thought to belong to Protoceratops.
Yet another dinosaur from Mongolia is the large Therizinosaurus you see here, with the long claws. The claws on its hands could grow up to 3 feet long, making them the longest claws in the animal kingdom. Most of what we know about Therizinosaurus comes from animals closely related to it. The only fossils we have of this animal are its shoulders, arms, and hands. It is believed to be an herbivore, but we are still looking for more fossils to know for sure. The dinosaur next to it is a Lorotitan, lived in what is now eastern Russia. It's in a special group of duck-billed dinosaurs called Lambeosaurs, which are famous for the elaborate crests on their heads. These crests would have certainly served as display structures, but may also have been used in some Lambeosaurs as resonating chambers to make sounds used to communicate effectively through the herd.
In this scene, you see Xianchusaurus. Xianchusaurus is a tyrannosaur from China and is closely related to Alioramus from Mongolia. Both have awfully long, narrow noses for members of the tyrannosaur family. We're not sure what those noses may have been used for. Maybe to cut through water, making them faster, more accurate fishermen, or maybe they were specializing in smaller, faster prey, not needing the powerful bite of a T-Rex. Scientists only described this dinosaur in 2014, so there are still a lot of unanswered questions about it. But I can tell you this much. In the United States, we do not typically refer to this dinosaur as Xianchusaurus. We typically just call it Pinocchio Rex.
Giganotosaurus, arguably one of the largest meat-eating dinosaurs. Though it may look a lot like T-Rex, it's actually a much different animal. Unlike a T-Rex, it has 3 claws on each hand, a lighter bone structure, and teeth that were designed for slicing, unlike a T-Rex's, which were meant for crushing through bones.
The dinosaur with the long crest on the back of its head is called Parasaurolophus. Parasaurolophus is a hadrosaur, a family of dinosaurs sometimes called duck-billed dinosaurs because of the shape of their snouts. Other hadrosaurs include Iguanodon, Ouranosaurus, Lorotitan, and Edmontosaurus, among many others. Parasaurolophus is a cool dinosaur because it's one of the few dinosaurs where we know what they might have sounded like. Paleontologists discovered that by looking at the crest on its head. What they found were tubes inside going back and forth between the nasal passage and the throat. When they recreated blowing air through their tubes, they discovered that the crest would have made a horn sound.
Quetzalcoatlus is the largest flying animal to ever take to the sky. It lived in what's now Texas because everything is bigger in Texas. It's named after the Quetzalcoatl, the Aztec feather serpent deity. It had a wingspan of 36 feet. That's the same as a small plane. Standing like it is here, it was the height of a giraffe, but would weigh less than 600 pounds. That's a lot, but it's incredibly light for an animal of this size because it was doing everything possible to be as light as possible.
Second largest in this scene is Carnotaurus, which means meat-eating bull because of peculiar horns on its head. It might have used its horns as a weapon against other predators. It's a very funny-looking dinosaur, not just because of the horns, but because of its tiny little arms. Carnotaurus has one of the smallest arms of any known dinosaur, even smaller than the T-Rex.
Of T-Rex, roughly half the size of a fully grown T-Rex. Apatosaurus is named after the Canadian.
In this scene, we have a group of dinosaurs called ceratopsians, or horned-faced dinosaurs. The ones in this scene include Titanoceratops, Cosmoceratops, Styracosaurus, and Brachioceratops. Now, there are 2 families of ceratopsians, Chasmosaurines and Centrosaurines. Now, Chasmosaurines have 2 prominent eye horns above their eyes and a very large frill. Centrosaurines do not typically have prominent eye horns and tend to have smaller frills, but sometimes they have some rather ornate horns coming out of those frills.
This armored dinosaur is Ankylosaurus, also known as fused lizard. Ankylosaurus was armored from head to toe with bits of bones on their skin called osteoderms. They are known for having a bony club tail, which was used to swing back and forth as a weapon to deter predators. Scientists have even found a T-Rex fossil with a broken leg that was shattered at about the same height as an Ankylosaurus tail club. This suggests that Ankylosaurus could fight off a T-Rex and possibly even win. The animal here is a Pachycephalosaurus, meaning thick-headed lizard, named after its thick, domed skull. It is often depicted as being used to headbutt each other for dominance, but some scientists think it is more likely used for display, and that the large dome didn't grow until much later in life.
T-Rex is one of the most common favorite dinosaurs, so that means we can actually talk about the T-Rex, the tyrant lizard king, while we have one of them here to look at. Tyrannosaurus rex had the most powerful bite of any land animal, between 8,000 and 12,000 pounds per square inch. On to the next area, the Triceratops.
The Triceratops. The cool thing about Triceratops... No! The last T-Rex is in with the Triceratops' pen, and he's eating the Triceratops! Oh no, folks, this is terrible! That's my favorite Triceratops!
It couldn't brush its teeth. That means its mouth was filled with bits of its last meal, filling its mouth with bacteria.
Megalodon. Megalodon is the largest shark to ever swim the seas. It is believed to reach up to 60 feet in length and had rows of hundreds of teeth.